You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
Hey. You there, listener. Phil Listenerman. Come over here. I'm going to have a chat with you. You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. Haha! You thought something else was going to happen, but it didn't. In your face, nerd. You're a big nerd. That's right. I called you a big nerd. Straighten your bow tie up in your suspenders and fuck off to the nerd store there. Nerd face. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what's happening, but we're going to talk about the Rumble because it happened, and there weren't a lot of nerds in the Rumble. There was a lot of rumbling happening in the Rumble. So let's do talking about the Rumble. Stop that. Stop that. Hey, can you stop that? Jagoffs. Fucking unprofessionals on the show. Poot the Bard is here. Tiger Bomb Tom is here. I am Ransom. I am also here. Did you not understand the words that were coming out of my mouth? Were you not listening to the Ransom story, Donnie? I'll tell you something else. There's one other man that's also here, and it doesn't matter what happened at this Rumble because there are still more events to take place. But the man that is here today stands before you as the reigning, undeniable galactic overlord of the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. That's right. It's BEEFLACTUS, the world eater, also known as Beef the Legend, also known as He's Better Than You, and you know it. Take it away, boys.
Take him away, toys. What a wonderful
that's something
intro.
different.
That's great. What a wonderful intro. Thank you, Ransom. Boys, I hope you are all doing what I'm doing, which is projecting. Huh?
What?
Projecting this year's WrestleMania logo on your televisions and pointing to them because we are on the road to WrestleMania.
I'm very unhappy right now.
It's time pointing season. Although I gotta say, I loved Rhea Ripley's take on it.
Oh, man.
Where she like
did it.
pointed and like waved, like
The Rhea
fucking-
Ripley wave at the sign. She's the best.
fucking just the best, just the best.
She is the best.
The Rumbles were actually pretty good too. I wouldn't say the
There were
best.
spots.
I'm probably gonna watch them again tomorrow and see where we end up. But I mean, I think that they were pretty good, very passable for the last decade. What did you guys think, Tom? Lead us off.
Yeah, I mean, I thought
Yeah.
the Rumble overall, I give it a A- for the whole event.
Generous.
Well, yeah, because the Rumbles were good. Minus my only bitching and moaning and complaining would be the lack of surprise entrance in the men's Rumble.
Fair.
You know, I could have done without fucking Booker T. Like,
Yeah.
come on. But they did make up for that later on with you know, getting Logan Paul back and him and Ricochet having an amazing, you know, fucking spot that people will talk about for years to come. We'll see it on clips for years to come. Women's Rumble, really good. I absolutely believe the right person won, and even more sweet that she went from 1 to 30. The main event was amazing with Roman and KO, and not amazing for the in-ring stuff because they did what they had to do in-ring wise. They didn't do anything over the top or anything too crazy in the ring. But the storytelling, this has been the best long-term storytelling that I've seen out of WWE in a long time, and that was a perfect way to end the pay-per-view and leave you coming back, you know, like, okay, what's going to happen next? You have to tune in Monday night or you have to tune in Friday or both to see what's going to happen. As far as the other matches, meh. At least they were short and I didn't have to sit long through them. The fucking the women's title match, like whatever that was going on with Alexa. I mean, I don't know. I'm still going to try to be positive and be like, all right, wait and see what happens. But I think I sent some to you guys in the I think I sent it to you guys in the group chat about something that Bray said, and he's like, yeah, the Swamp Wizard character is dead, the Fiend is dead, there's something different going on here, and I'm waiting to see how this all connects with the Uncle Howdy and stuff like that. But it kind of made Alexa look a little bit like a fool, like her being possessed and saying like, I'm gonna claw your fucking eyes out and this and that, and then it was just meh. It was a match. That was it.
My
And
biggest gripe, I think, about the event on the whole, and it was a really good event. I wouldn't say A-. I'd probably be somewhere in the B range. But for a Royal Rumble event that so often disappoints us because we build up in our minds all the awesome things that could happen that never do. I think to say that a Royal Rumble is in the B range, I think is actually very, very good. My gripe is that, my gripe is that the two matches that weren't the main event or the Royal Rumbles lasted a total of 12 minutes.
yeah,
I don't like short matches. All right, I don't want no short match, man. Especially on a pay-per-view. Like, that's where it should be, and again, I understand you have 2-hour-long Rumbles, and the men's Rumble went even longer this year. And then you had, like, the big, thing with Roman and Kevin, which the match went 20 minutes, and then the aftermath was probably another 10 on top of it.
right.
So, like, I get that you had these time constraints. Simple answer: if you don't have time for the match, don't book it.
Bump it to the pre-show.
Or, as opposed to going on at 8 o'clock at night, go on at 7 o'clock at night. I don't think anybody complains about that. And again, my stance is as long as it's quality, I'll enjoy it. I'll say this: I really like the Pitch Black match. I know that's not a popular opinion, and I know that's when that's going to get scoffed at around here. I think it was inventive. I think it was fun. I think if you eliminate the company branding from the ring, from the ringside, and from Bray's arm,
yeah,
I think it's a lot better. But, like,
what was on Bray's
outside of
arm? I didn't notice that.
Mountain Dew.
yeah.
Oh, it was Mountain Dew. I
Literally
thought it was
Mountain-
just cum.
Yeah. No, it was Mountain Dew.
It's either blood, semen, or urine. God, I hope it's urine.
Like, I really liked the concept. I love what Bray did with it. Like, yeah, there were some spots like the fucking announce table with, like, the neon green foam bit pellets. Okay, that,
That was stupid.
But, like, overall, I like the idea of the black light and what Bray did with it. I thought it was fun. I think it should have been longer. That is honestly my biggest gripe about the show, is that those two matches totaled 12 minutes, especially when we know that Bray can do it, that LA Knight can do it, that Bianca can do it, and Alexa can do it. There's no reason that these athletes should not have been given a better showcase.
I'm kind of half with you on the Pitch Black match, but for me, I think the biggest thing that I took away from was, like, I couldn't get, like, I was so distracted by all the obscene, obnoxious, like, or not obscene, by the obnoxious branding, and that for somebody that you expect a certain thing out of Bray Wyatt, I guess maybe it just, like, whatever it was, it didn't meet my expectations. Not to say that you're not wrong. It was unique. It was different. It was interesting. I think that was one of the things that either led to or continued on my drinking that night. So, I had fun with it. But I don't know. I guess it probably, I think for a lot of people, it was probably we just had something different in mind. Just expectations not really met. I think that's probably why it was so negatively received.
And again, I think the fact that it was 5 minutes, more or less a squash.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, the ending kind of came out of nowhere. I just, like, I think and obviously the branding. You guys heard me rant enough about the branding, but like that's obviously, like you said, is very distracting.
I would have personally been better with it if still calling it a pitch black match without the freaking stupid Mountain Dew branding. If they literally did like blacked out the lights and did like spotlights on them or whatever, like that would have been more interesting to me than making me feel I was like circa 1999 in my friend's basement, with listening to Korn and a blacklight poster. That's all.
That was fun because Bray had all the paint on and like the contacts. Like I did like that aspect. I think in retrospect, if you want to brand it the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, and you want to call it the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match up until fucking card time, I would sign off on that if we're not going to get the fucking logos everywhere. The logos in the middle of the ring and on the entranceway and on the fucking
everything.
That was a little much.
It was.
It neuters the mysticism of the Fiend.
It did. It absolutely
or not the Fiend, of Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. So like I think if you remove that stuff, I think you have a passable concept that needed more fleshed out and again more time. But I think that it was very clear that it was a time crunch, a casualty, that and Bianca Alexa. What about you, Ransom? What are your takeaways? And I mean, we're just getting started. We're not, this is gonna be a question, but first thoughts.
I'm overall pleased with the event. I've had time to think about it and digest it. There were some things they weren't initially happy with, but after thinking about it and thinking about past Rumbles, this one was very good. I thought it was very good. I'll criticize the men's Rumble for a couple things. A, Booker T, stop it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have rather had the Hurricane, personally, whatever. B, if you're going to have somebody get beat up and not enter the Rumble, put somebody in their spot. Don't have a 29-man Royal Rumble.
I have some news on that. Apparently, Rey Mysterio got hurt the night before.
Yep.
In his match with Karrion Kross.
Yep.
Okay, but they have a roster full of people. You're telling me that they couldn't have shown Dominic Mysterio lay his dad out and then piss off to the ring and somebody else could have filled that spot?
Maybe. It would have felt messy. It would have felt messy and clunky. In a perfect world, they wouldn't have announced Dom's entrance at all. But because they did the little YouTube vignette with Rhea, I felt like they had to announce him. If he had not been announced and they didn't do that little vignette, I think he probably would have taken Ray's place, and somebody else would have, stepped up at that point and gotten into a spot. But I think that they probably did the best that they could do with it.
Well,
but go on, Ransom. No, it's Ransom's point here. Let's hear him out. Sorry.
In any case, I don't like 29-man Royal Rumbles. I think that's stupid. I think there are always options that they could have gone with to make it, an actual 30. Booker T, stop it. While I don't have necessarily an issue, I don't have any issues with stables in Royal Rumbles because stables are generally a group of individuals that come together, but they have their individual things that they do. Tag teams, I'm kind of over tag teams being in the Rumble, and it's not this Rumble exclusive. It's Rumbles in the past, it's Rumbles going forward. Nowhere in my mind am I going into this Rumble going, you know what? Gable or Otis could win this. No. Hey, one of the Street Profits could win. No. They're not gonna. They're a tag team. They're not gonna win. Somebody from Judgment Day, yes, they could win because they're not a tag team. They're a stable. So that could happen. Somebody from Judgment Day could win it, but tag teams, no. Like even when I look back on like past Rumbles, like one of the Smoking Guns gonna win? No, that's not gonna. You think a Bushwhacker's gonna win? Stop it. It's not gonna happen. It's never gone to a tag team. One half of a tag team. It's probably never going to, unless they're really sowing seeds of breaking up said tag team, and one person's getting propelled and one person's getting left behind. So I think those spots could have been better suited for an individual, not a tag team, that would have been more believable in winning. I don't have a problem with the pitch black match. What I'm going to have a problem with is that if every pay-per-view they do, Bray Wyatt has another gimmicky match. Like, this dude has got to be able to have some regular frickin' matches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with a weird, bizarre, off-the-wall match here and there. I don't want it to be every pay-per-view. I don't want every pay-per-view to be like, here comes a newfangled, funny whoopie-doo from Bray Wyatt. I'm going to get sick and tired of that real quick. So I didn't have a problem with this. I thought it was interesting. Like everybody else said, the branding was dumb. Stop that. But I don't want to see a gimmicky Bray Wyatt match at every pay-per-view or every pay-per-view he's on. That's going to spoil it for me and make me real sick and tired of it. I honestly could have given two craps less about Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss. I was not invested in that at all. I don't give a crap about Alexa Bliss and this Uncle Howdy thing. I think Alexa Bliss's association with Bray Wyatt should have died whenever they'd done Bray Wyatt dirty back at whatever Mania that was. That needs to stop. I'm not at all interested. Please quit it. Let's see what else. Rhea Ripley is the best women's wrestler, period. She takes better bumps than most of the male wrestlers. She doesn't look clunky. She looks absolutely believable. She doesn't look like she's trying to delicately throw herself into the turnbuckle. It's not a critique of women's wrestling. I'm just saying she's the best because she doesn't do these things that I see other women do. Like they take the ropes gently. They obviously slow down before they hit the turnbuckle. Rhea Ripley has something that a lot of the other most of the other women wrestlers don't have. And I don't know exactly what that is. Like I can't pinpoint what that is, but she looks more believable. She looks more fluid. She looks more precise. I'll happily get into an argument with anybody at this point, on or off the show. I don't care. My stance is Rhea Ripley is the best women's wrestler that is wrestling today. Outside of some, random ass promotion in Japan, because I don't watch that.
Bold but good statements, man.
WWE, AEW, Impact, NWA, PWGP, NWO, CIA, FBI, whatever. Rhea Ripley is the best women's wrestler that there is today, right now. Fight me. I don't care. I'll argue until I have no more breath left in me. The absolutely right person won that Rumble. And if Charlotte Flair wins at WrestleMania over Rhea Ripley, it's clear that WWE doesn't know what they're doing. Because there's no reason in any form of reality, any multiverse, no matter what, that should never happen. She's the best. Shut up. That's it. Bloodline, good stuff. I'm interested to see where it goes with this. Rumor is The Rock's not coming to Mania.
Mm-hmm.
So
which I think we can finally believe. I think we can finally start to put it to bed a little bit now.
I'm okay with that. 100%, and I think everybody is.
So I'm curious as to what goes down here.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a bit because there's a lot to unpack with WrestleMania, the main event, and how the Royal Rumble factors in. Poot, what were your? Because you got the benefit of because the rest of us clods are all together. some of us are more drunken stupors than others.
Excuse me?
Guilty.
I
I said
I wasn't.
guilty.
I wasn't drunken at all.
Come on.
Definitely didn't polish off an entire bottle of tequila that night.
No.
Oh,
heavens.
Lord, man.
Anyway,
man.
I was surprised that I wasn't drunk after that.
not
but
just
yeah,
any tequila. The
the
Ross
rocks
tequila.
tequila.
Oh,
We cracked that bottle of the Rocks tequila open before the pay-per-view started and finished it up before the end of the men's rumble.
oh,
Yeah.
that shit is so good. Ah, damn it.
But anyway, you
Yeah.
you had the benefit of kind of like taking it in a more like, and like that's what I'm gonna try to do tomorrow is kind of like cloak myself in and sequester myself and like really kind of take it in. But what are your thoughts from what we saw on Saturday night?
So, for those uninitiated,
say.
I did not get to hang out with these three wonderful boys on Rumble Saturday because my band had a gig, and I would have been. I was in the whole drive back to to Clearfield. I was in a piss poor mood. I was like, I just want to be relaxing, watching Rumble. I want to wake up with a hangover on Sunday, and I want to drive back and drink coffee. And meh. I was really pissy. The only thing that saved me from having the weekend be spoiled is the fact that the place we played, and I know this is a tangent off of the Rumble. I'm getting there, but like the place we played, wall to wall, quite literally, and I mean that literally, was jammed. All the way until like the
Strawberry?
last 20 minutes. It was, actually boysenberry.
They gave us the raspberry.
Oh, not the raspberries. Yeah, it was jammed. And like the floor in that place, if you have people on the dance floor and there's enough people there, you can feel the floor moving. Our tops and subs were literally tipping.
Nice.
Like it was a banger of a gig. And like that, I went, all right. And that brought me back to neutral. I went, all right, fine. Like, but I wish I could have been there and watching it live and drinking tequila with the boys. But I got to watch it the next day. I hunkered down with a good friend of mine and kind of indoctrinated them into the world of pro wrestling with my favorite pay-per-view of the year. Now, also, before I get into this, happy birthday, Ransom. I wasn't there for the actual thing. But I was there earlier, and you're a happy boy. I love you. But anyway, so my take was the fact that the men's Rumble like opened the show. I was like, all right, let's go. I was like, this is going to be cool. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the men's Rumble very much. I thought it was very well done. I thought it was entertaining. I thought I loved the fact that Gunther or Walter got his due, and he looked like a machine the whole time. That warmed my heart. And there was actually a post that I saw on Facebook that someone said, there are magical moments where you look back and go, see, this is where a star was born. And not that Gunther or Walter or whatever you want to call him hasn't been that and hasn't built his legacy. But man, it was something else to watch him go damn near pillar to post. Mm-hmm. That was awesome. It was inspiring and it was enjoyable. So I really don't have anything terrible to say. I will agree with Ransom on the fact that having tag teams in there, do one works. One. Like, and have it be a team like the New Day that can do goofy spots like the wheelbarrow butt slapper or whatever Michael Cole called it. Like, do stuff like that. Like, that I can get behind. Like, have one tag team in there. And I also like the fact that Kofi called himself out for a second year in a row botched spot.
It seems like it's over. It seems like it's over.
Oh, no, it's over. It's
happy.
over. It's 100% over. So, that being said, I liked it. And then the Pitch Black match came on next, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try and treat this like this is gonna be something neat. And you know what? You have people like LA Knight and Bray Wyatt. and again, agreeing what was said earlier, they can do so much more. They can do so much more. I did really like the visuals of this. And by the way, a friend of mine who's in the other band that I'm in, he does production work for the Bryce Jordan Center. And he told me from people that he talked to, that setup for that blacklight thing took 35 hours to put together. Like to get that to work and get it to look good. I thought it was visually appealing. It made me feel like I was playing laser tag. So I like that. Again, I thought the little green things out of the announcer's table was a little bit of overkill. It also fell to the fact that it was like kind of spoiled and it was like a little bit of a messy like reveal. You know, it wasn't like smooth and natural and had that eye-popping thing because you saw it kind of like, what the hell's that green shit? What's that? Oh, okay. It makes the table breaking look cool. Uncle Howdy just apparently throwing himself off the thing and going, now LA Knight's dead. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. I was like, it was just like, oh, there he is. Bray Wyatt's wearing another mask. I love the visuals. I will say this, Bray Wyatt is so smart with his visuals. So many times with those contacts reacting with the black light going on, it was so interesting and visually appealing. And I joked about saying, oh, come covered Bray Wyatt doing a thing. But like, again, I like the look. I like the idea. You didn't see it when he was coming out to the ring and then the lights went on. And it's like, whoa, okay, cool. But again, it's just more kind of like, it's the, what do they call it? Techno. You hear people say techno speak where they talk about technology, or like, mystic speak where they say, in the times of lore where things were dark and deep and the elder gods reigned the earth with that's kind of how this story with Uncle Howdy is feeling with Bray Wyatt. It's like, and there was a mystic man, and then there were demons, and there were many other things, and Huskus the pig boy was there. And it's like, okay, get to the point. Like, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, but can we have payoff? Can we have payoff for this? Like, that's what I want. Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair, it was good, but again, way too short. It was okay. It was what it was. What, are you building a car over there?
No, I'm just trying to get you to take a breath.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I'm a man who talks. So, like, it was what it was. The thing with Alexa Bliss, I'm still okay seeing where this is going. But again, they got to pull the trigger on this shit soon. Real soon. And I mean real soon. The Women's Rumble, I actually inadvertently, just because I was exhausted, I fell asleep for about 5 minutes during it. And it was it was 5 minutes. Well, sorry, man. I was fucking exhausted. And then that 5 minutes, though, all I missed was Chelsea Green coming in and getting thrown out. And it breaks my fucking heart, because why have someone re-debut and then just make them look fucking weak? I hate that shit, and it's dumb and stupid. Rhea Ripley going 1 to close, that was the best decision they could have made. Everything Ransom said about her is 100% true. She is lovely, and she is a dommy mommy. And I love the fact that it shows that they are putting faith in the woman, because they gave her the one to win. The like open to close, the alpha, the omega, like they gave it to her. And I think she deserves it, because she's someone who makes it believable. And it's a good story. And Beef, when she did that, when I saw her wave at the Rumble sign, I went, oh, Beef's going to be so happy, because she's not just fucking pointing at the dumb thing. The bloodline, I think that is the greatest thing that WWE has done in a long fucking time. It was compelling. They like played their cards really well with having things happen with Sami Zayn, and I don't know, the beats were all there. It's just good. And plus the way that Roman was acting and the things he was saying, it made you go, this feels icky. Like, it felt icky. Like, it did. Like, and maybe it was just like the situation I saw it in, but man, it felt icky. And I loved it. It felt just like, oh, chef's kiss. And I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with this, because the like redemption of Sami Zayn is going to be phenomenal. So overall, I'd give it a solid B+. Solid B+. And I'm glad, because if every other pay-per-view is bullshit, the Rumble was very passable, and that makes it okay for me.
To Ransom's point earlier, well, no, maybe not. I forgot the point that when Beef stopped me, but
Nailed it.
yeah. When you said about a vaulter, going the distance there, Poot. You got it. It's impressive enough that he was in there from 1 to the end, but then when you think about it, like how they have done in as many recent Rumbles as I can remember, when you get down to like the final 4, the final 2, you basically have like another mini match. So he went over an hour, and then he had basically a match
This year more
Cody.
so than others, I think.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely more so this year. But that is even more impressive to me. With a man his size and everything like that, like that just speaks volumes to his conditioning and like
Absolutely.
and everything like that. So, that is really super impressive.
Couple hot takeaways from the champ here. I loved 1 versus 30. That was something we've never seen. And unfortunately, I couldn't hear commentary to see if they were making a big deal about it. I'm betting they did. I'm betting it had to at least come up, because like you had a guy, Walter, the fucking Gunther. I think I'll call him Gunther now and be okay with it, because I think he's earning his stripes with that name. Being the fucking marathon man. And he was active pretty much the whole Rumble. This wasn't a situation where he was like hiding in the corner. He was active most of the Rumble. And like one of the best parts about the Rumble, with the exception of Otis and Gable and the Prophets, like everybody was
and the
there.
New Day.
No. New Day felt right, but like everybody there felt like they were there for a purpose. And like the big names were there for most of the Rumble. Like it really felt on point. Logan Paul coming back is not being talked about as much as it should be.
I'm not gonna lie, that's fucking awesome. I'm sorry.
Like, yes, let's laud Cody for coming back. I agree, absolutely. Logan Paul, broke his ankle, I think, or leg or whatever at SummerSlam last year, and like he's back already. That should have been a much longer recovery time, and he's busted his hump to get back. And yeah, Poot, I think it was Poot, that said that spot will be shown from now until the end of WWE.
Oh, it was great.
Absolutely. The Women's Rumble, I think, was good. It wasn't without its flaws. Go ahead, Tom.
I when you get done, I remembered what it was about Ransom's point.
Okay. It wasn't without its charm. There were definitely some issues with it. I think I had. Rhea being in there first to 30 was great. Winning the Rumble from number 1 absolutely shows you that she's ready to be the bell cow. But she only had 5 eliminations. I think that this was the time where she probably should have had more. Raquel, I think, was a big miss here. I think you had a chance to kind of start to rebuild her character a little bit, and didn't. Piper Niven, I loved seeing what she had. I loved seeing her back as Piper Niven. and I love the faith they put in her. So good for her. Chelsea Green, at the time, I was like, okay, this is dumb. But then the next night on Raw, she did her whole, like, are you the manager? Kind of like, and people, okay, so like people are like, Chelsea Green's just playing a Karen. All right, do you know what Laurel Van Ness was in Impact before the hot mess? Like, are you aware that that's what Laurel Van Ness was, that everybody lauded and applauded? Like, this is how this has to happen. She starts as this uptight, like, stick up her ass thing, and then eventually transitions into, more or less a broken Matt Hardy, aka the hot mess. Like, this is how this proceeds. Stop it. Give it a chance. Nia Jax, whatever.
God, damn it! You had to bring her name up. I had actually forgotten about her, and damn it,
tired of people talking over me. I'm here for her. I'm here for giving her a chance.
Nope.
Okay, good talk. If Triple H brought her back, I don't see a reason why he would do that, unless, and I mean, it's not like The Rock was there. If The Rock was there, oh yeah, absolutely, that makes sense. The entire bloodline being in one place, one time, whatever.
Word is, wasn't it a one-off? Wasn't it a one-off?
No, they are selling Nia Jax gear.
Damn it.
Again, let's fucking give her a chance, man.
She's had so many. She sucks. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be apologetic, and I don't care. Like,
you just apologize.
My man.
People can get better, dude.
Absolutely.
She's the female version of Goldberg.
Charlotte Flair was a piss. She was terrible in NXT. And I'm not talking like garden variety terrible. I'm talking like would not have a job had her last name not been Flair. And she has grown leaps and bounds.
Okay, but how many times?
Ronda Rousey, when she started, was not the best. She has grown. Nia Jax, absolutely. We could be in a place in 2 months where I'm like, you're right, Tom. Same old Nia Jax. Or maybe she took the time off as a realization, saying, you know what? Let's fucking work at this.
I'm gonna pull something here.
Yo.
Yeah. Anyways, much like how Ransom will give you a guarantee, I'm gonna wait for the "I told you so." And within the next 6 months, the first person that she reportedly ends up injuring somebody, I don't want to hear shit about giving her another chance. How many times you could say that about anybody that, oh, well, when they first started off, they weren't that great, but they got exponentially better. Okay, that's all well and fine. But how many times did anybody reportedly get injured by Charlotte? I can't recall any. I don't care. I don't care if she was hot garbage when she started. Yeah, she got better. That's fine. That's what's supposed to happen.
Man makes a salient point.
You should get better or get the fuck out of the business. Nia has notoriously injured people left and right. Why the fuck are you bringing back in somebody that's an unsafe worker? If she can go the next 6 months, because I'm putting that big of a timeline on it. If she can go the next 6 months, and I don't hear about somebody got injured by Nia, all right, then I will I'll eat the crow and I'll say, okay, you know what? She took the time off. She got better. Good on her. I'll give credit where credit's due, like I always do. Logan Paul, amazing athletic ability. He absolutely belongs in the WWE ring. Human garbage, though. Hate him as a person, respect him as an athlete. He's the fucking he's terrible human being, but I'll give him credit where credit's due. If she can go that long, I'll give her credit where credit's due. Until then, she's the fucking female equivalent of Goldberg.
You mean the guy who carried one of the top 2 wrestling companies for like 2.5 years and sold out stadiums across the world?
You mean the guy that couldn't fucking wrestle his way out of a wet paper bag in over a 5-minute match, and William Regal, whatever you want to call him, made him look like an absolute fucking fool? Anyway,
Tom, I am a
anyways.
wrestling purist. I am a wrestling purist. I'm a guy who enjoys New Japan Pro Wrestling because they wrestle. I love AEW because they put on good wrestling matches. I love submission wrestling. I love shoot wrestling. But I'm also going to say that Goldberg was one of the biggest stars of all time because of how he was branded. I'm not saying that Nia Jax is going to be Goldberg. I'm not even saying that she's going to be great. I'm saying that she has a look that no other woman has, and that if purposed correctly, I think that she could be like the Big Show, that she could be a big foil for a face needing to overcome. And again, it's going to require focus on her part and work, and it's going to require good booking. I just am willing to give it a shot. That's all I'm saying.
I'll give you the later part of that. You are right that if booked correctly, that she could be a large foil for, somebody to overcome in that. I'll give you that. That's fine. I have way less patience for it, though, just because of her notorious track record. In regards to the whole Goldberg carrying the company on his back, dude, just because something is popular doesn't mean it's good. Look at The Bachelor. Look at The Bachelorette. Some of the most popular TV. It's fucking hot garbage.
You shitting on my favorite TV show, Tom?
Yeah, I am.
You shitting on my favorite TV show? They just want love, Tom.
Before I forget about it, Ransom's point about the Rey Mysterio spot.
Yes.
I think the way they could have gone about it better and put somebody in his spot is they could have done some sort of segment with Dom beating the shit out of him backstage or something, whatever the case may be, or they could have done some sort of vignette. They could have put together something within the pre-show time, and then it would have been a quote unquote surprise who we were going to get in Rey's spot, since Rey was, already previously announced. So that could have been a way they got around it. Why they didn't do it, if they just logistically couldn't make work, I don't know. They could have mentioned something on the pre-show or at the beginning of the Rumble, or they could have mentioned it even whenever whoever else came out to take his spot. Like, oh well, I see that we have reports that Rey Mysterio was injured, and otherwise he would have been coming out here now in the Rumble, but we get whoever else. Like there could have been some other workaround. So I'll agree with Ransom. They could have done that a little bit better. But it was still kind of interesting the way they tied it with Dom coming out after him and him coming out with the mask, although he failed to rip it, which he just looked like he was doing. That made me laugh. But all that aside, I don't know if it's something you want to get into on the next episode or not, but WWE has a little bit of a unique problem on their hands, because you had Cody winning the Rumble, but is he the right person that you want to face Roman at WrestleMania, with all the bloodline drama kind of putting a bow on it? They have a very unique position, how they're going to approach this. It's kind of almost a la Daniel Bryan with the whole Yes Movement thing back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's problematic. I think the right guy won the Royal Rumble. I think that it was the right move, and I think this is a great story that they're telling with it. But Sami Zayn has done such a great job of getting himself over accidentally for the last 6 months that I think people are now going to be upset if Sami doesn't win the big one. And I'm here to tell you, he's not gonna.
No way.
He's gonna face Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be crazy, but he's not gonna win, because he can't. Because it's a B pay-per-view, first of all. It's a month and a half before Mania, second of
He
all.
says.
He could win by DQ.
Third of all,
Default.
you have a mega marquee matchup like Roman Reigns versus Cody. I am a big Sami Zayn fan. I'm a big mark for El Generico. I don't see Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns being a marquee matchup at WrestleMania. I think it's gonna be gangbusters at Elimination Chamber, but like it doesn't have the same pop to it as
Agreed.
Roman versus Cody, Roman versus The Rock, Roman versus Austin, Roman versus even McIntyre. So, excuse me.
I think the pop, if he actually pulled it off, would be insanity. I think it would be bonkers. I think the roof will blow off the place.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, a lot of that would be, part of it because it's in his hometown for sure. But I mean, I really think they've done too good of a job with this story. They've made it, as we've all said, the best thing in WWE in decades. But now, they're like, hey, let's all move on to this other thing for 2 months, and everybody's like, well, but this other story, it's complicated, and Cody gave a fiery and impassioned promo on Raw. I think Cody's gonna have to bring his A game to be over at WrestleMania, because I'm really worried that we're gonna get a lot of Sami chants.
I think a way that they can go about doing this, like you said, is having Sami face Roman at Elimination Chamber. I think Sami could get the win by DQ, but obviously Roman still walk away with both titles, and then that in turn could set up like, okay, well, he technically won, so then him and KO team up and go against the Usos at Mania, and that's their workaround. Like, you still get that for the fans. You still the fans still get that moment of Sami got justice, and he did it. He pulled off the big one. A win's a win regardless. But you still keep Roman looking strong because he still has both titles. It kind of works out that way.
Man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but didn't Jey
Roman
Uso
Reigns,
leave?
That's the other
bloodline?
thing. Did he leave the bloodline, or he just walked away that night? And there's
I think he said. I think he sent it like a tweet that said I'm out or something.
Did anybody watch Raw or watch highlights from
They
Raw?
didn't. Yeah, they didn't. They
So
didn't address.
We'll probably have to wait till SmackDown to find out. Okay.
So that's another cog in the wheel here. Like, if Jay's out, are they still going to have the Usos tag together? Are they going to have Jay? Nope. Are they going to have Jimmy and Solo tag together to defend the belts if Jay is out? Here's what needs to happen to prevent the scenario that Beef is putting out there, where Roman versus Cody ends up in fans chanting for what's his face, Sami.
Mm-hmm.
Roman versus Cody needs to happen on night 1, and I really think they need to do a Roman versus Sami at night 2. Now, even if there's no intention of putting the belt on Sami, I think that's how they fix that problem. You're not going to have people chanting for Sami on night 1 when Roman versus Cody if they know they're getting that on night 2. If they get Roman versus Sami on night 1 and Roman beats Sami, I still think you get chance for Sami when it's Cody versus Roman on night 2.
Yeah.
I think if they know it's coming, they're going to shut up about it and they're going to focus on this match because they know there's no point in chanting for Sammy now. We're getting that tomorrow. So they're going to focus on what's happening now because they know Sammy's coming tomorrow night.
So,
I think that's how they save it.
But
a couple things. First of all, Tom's scenario where Sammy wins by DQ. By no stretch of anybody's imagination should Roman Reigns lose a singles match by pin, submissions, disqualification, count out, KO, default, fucking red card, flag of the play, forfeit. By no fucking means should Roman Reigns take any kind of singles loss before he gives this rub to Cody. Because that neuters him. Because then Cody can say, yeah, I won the title, but I wasn't the first guy to beat Roman in 3 years.
He could do it if Roman gets DQ'd by his own hand. It could work.
I still, man, that's an L. And the tribal chief has been very, very, very
methodical.
upfront that he's not taking L's. And they've done everything that they can the last 3 years to make sure that there was plenty of outside interference, plenty of shifty situations, but he's never taken an L. The only L he took was part of this bloodline situation where it was him and Sammy versus KO and Cena, and Sammy
was the one that ate the pin.
Right. And that's kind of what kind of started this little hot seat thing. So, and in terms of Sammy facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, get that out of your head right now, because I'm telling you, unless they're moving for a swerve, I don't see it happening. Because again, in the nicest way possible, I don't think Sami Zayn right now at this moment is WrestleMania main event material.
Agreed.
Ooh.
He has not earned it.
From a
he's been a great sidekick the last 6 months. The most entertaining spot on any night he's a part of. And absolutely he can carry a 7.5 star match. I just like putting his face up there on the marquee and Roman. WrestleMania goes Hollywood. I don't see it. It's not there for me.
Here's to back you up, Beef. Here's a good comparison. When you go back to like WrestleMania 3, one of the best matches that stole the show that night was Macho and Steamboat, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what was the marquee match that sold the place out? It was Hogan and Andre.
Absolutely.
So that's where you're kind of at with this whole Sammy thing. I can see your point about Roman not suffering a loss even via DQ. Regardless, I think to Ransom's point, I think if you get Sammy and KO in the tag match against the Usos or whatever iteration of the Usos or whatever for the tag titles on night one, you give the fans that Sammy gets one over on the bloodline, the feel good story, and then I think you get that out of your system, so where you don't run into Sammy chance in the Cody versus Roman match. I think Cody and Roman is definitely going to be night 2 main event. I don't think there's any way they put it on night 1 because then what do you have as your main event for night 2? I'm with Beef. I don't see Sammy being a WrestleMania main event. He's almost there, but not quite there. Like I know you could argue the same thing about like in the situation that happened with Daniel Bryan back in the day. Like who would have seen that coming? The fans can definitely.
No, Bryan at that point absolutely was a believable WrestleMania main eventer.
That's what I'm saying. Like
2 or
Bryan
3.
Was more...
He had 2 or 3 years of like solid world title work. Sammy at best has been an Intercontinental Champion
True.
for a cup of coffee.
True. That's why I say it's a similar situation, but you're right. Bryan was way more believable. Actually held a world title. That's the biggest difference. Like Sammy's almost there, but not quite there. Like he is absolutely the fan favorite. That he is a bit. I think we even mentioned it last podcast. He's a bigger baby face than Cody right now. Like Sammy is the biggest baby face in the whole company, bar none. But he just doesn't quite have that WrestleMania it factor to put him in that main event spot.
Pooh,
So
you had a
if the-
point. Oh, sorry,
Ooh.
go ahead, Ransom.
No, that's right. Pooh had a point.
Not really. Honestly, it was covered. We're good.
Excellent. So if The Rock is not showing up at Mania, Roman's not doing double duty, do you think? This could be one defense
No,
against Cody and that's it?
So I'm gonna big brain it. I think he does have two matches.
What? It's Roman versus Nia Jax. Book it.
I think he defends against Cody, and you're probably right. Right at this point, that's probably night 2. I think that we've been reading the situation wrong. The storyline hasn't been about hasn't been about Sami and Roman. It's been about Jay and Roman. From the very get-go, Jay was the one that kind of drug his feet. Jay was the one that had to be like bullied
Beaten
into the
into
bloodline.
submission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Main event Jey Uso.
Was it Jay?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
It was
And
because Jimmy was hurt or arrested or one of those two things.
right. And as I recall, at the time that this was all going down, reports were that that Jay was going to be the one to get the rub.
Wow.
And it was like 3 years ago, and we were all like, "Well, that's dumb. That's just stupid. No way. No way.
I have a
Let's see
question
how
on
it
that.
plays out."
So whenever it was that Roman had beat one of the Uso brothers, it was Jimmy that he beat, and like Jay had to stop him and acknowledge him or whatever that case was, and then Jimmy was out and Jay was main event Jey Uso. That's how it went down? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I think that's how that went down.
Okay, I was trying to not to be a smartass. I was really trying to remember which one of them he beat because it's hard.
He beat Jey Uso at Hell in a Cell 2000, and that's not right, is it? No, that's not right. That was never mind.
What is it?
No, ignore me.
Good talk. Pat,
Would,
if you're listening, ask a question about Jey Uso.
yeah, no, right. Well, he beat one of them at the Hell in the Cell. Yeah, I see. It's been so long now, but
He faced Jey Uso in Hell in a Cell because,
Okay.
and I think that's when he was like, it was an I Quit match, and I think he was like threatening Jimmy maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely. I think that because again, I seem to remember those reports happening, and and at the time I was like, that sounds dumb. The Usos are like the greatest tag team of all time. Why would they do this? This is stupid. Jey Uso's not a main event guy, but all of the sudden, like he walks out on what they were doing to Sammy, and like the looks that he gave, and like it. I'm telling you, like as much as I don't see Roman versus Sammy as a main event of WrestleMania, I absolutely could see Roman versus Jay as main event of WrestleMania.
What about
because of all the work that they've put in prior, because of how Jay was the one that didn't want Sammy in for the longest time, and then eventually was the one who came to his defense in the trial, and then like all the facial work he did at Royal Rumble, just so many really great things by Jey Uso here.
what about at the end of the Rumble pay-per-view, whenever they were kind of walking away back up the ramp before it fades out, Roman said something to Solo. He said something about, "We're going to war now, take no prisoners." do you think maybe on night one we get a tag match of like Roman and Solo versus the Usos, and then night two they do their title defense early on in the night, and then you get the Cody versus Roman main event?
I don't think they'll have Roman Reigns tag at WrestleMania. I think that it's going to be 2 singles matches.
Okay.
And I don't like the more the time goes by, I think the more likely it is that Cody probably gets both of those belts. But that's not to say that he can't face Jey Uso in a main event match for Pride. I'm gonna show you what's what, and then maybe Jey Uso is the one that beats. And again, I know I'm kind of talking out both sides of my mouth here, but if Jey Uso and Roman happens on night one, and he beats Roman Reigns, somehow I would be okay with him being the guy to take the first W from the Tribal Chief in 300 or however many fucking days it is, Even though it in a perfect world, it would be Cody. I would be okay with it being Jey.
I said a lot of different ways that you could skin this cat. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do. There's gonna be a lot more speculation until we get a little bit closer to Mania, regardless.
I think we're gonna learn a lot at Elimination Chamber.
Agreed. Yeah.
Pooch?
Sounds like Ransom's already digging into the tasty wrap up here.
Yeah, I think we're looking at some tasty south of the border entrees, my friend.
South of the border. Thank you for listening to P3 Podcast. This is the episode 1.